Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow Program. Thanks for growing with me on today. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm right by the. It's not a highway, but you can hear it in here. I'm in the house with the door closed. But I'm telling you, it don't bother me though. I like the sound of it. I love the sound of it. What I don't like the sound of is a crash. And thank the Lord I haven't heard that. Wow. Well, I praise God that we are growing. I praise God for you. I praise God for each one of you realizing that we need to rise from oppression. And while we rising, I want you to think about something. Businesses, buying up businesses, and beginning to your neighborhood thriving again, where the influx of drugs just tore the neighborhoods all down. Just imagine for a minute, think about this. Imagine Detroit being beautiful. The houses bought up and those that can be renovated and put families in to live in. The stores and things are thriving because look, people are getting past them drugs, honey. We wising up about those drugs. Stop taking that mess. What you taking that for? You see what it's doing to your community, your brothers, your sisters. We have got to rise from the oppression. That's cruel and unusual treatment. Just horrible treatment that you could do to somebody. That's what done happened to us for 400 years. But now there's awakening in the world. Just like with the beautiful light of God rising in the morning. It's an awakening. The light of God is just shining its light all over the world. With the grow movement, just shining light all over. And we are just growing, honey. We are growing over this oppression and coming out with substance. So I want to mention Mona's Beauty Supply in Tennessee. Mona's Beauty Supply. She's opening up her beauty supply and she is looking for someone that knows how to do some, that put a sign on a car, on her vehicle. She's looking for some help down there and she's trying to get it together. So Mona's Beauty Supply, praise God for that. We need to think about businesses, people. We need to think about Tulsa. We need to think about our ancestors and how hard they worked to get where they had, what they got. So look, now there's nothing holding us back. We have the equal rights. Yes, we know the evil out there doing. It's so much evil I can't even keep up. I can't even keep up with all the hashtags. I know that the evil is working. The evil is going to work tirelessly, hour after hour. But our God is mighty and all power. And God got a plan. Now, here go the plan. God always had a perfect plan. And his will is going to be done on this earth as it is in heaven. We are going to love one another as God commanded, as we once did. See, because now we all in this spiritual warfare, all of us, all caught up in this battle. I'm telling you, I look at me, even 3 weeks ago, honey, I was going through the battle. I was going through, and that battle was taking me through, honey, because I had stopped eating for a minute. I had stopped eating because who want to eat in a situation like that? You going through something. You going through some turmoil. You don't feel like eating. You don't want to eat. You just, your mind is focused on what you got to do. Like I told you, I used to have to make myself eat, but now here I am. I'm bouncing back around. But see, here another thing. See, I stopped filling my body up with that fast food, because look, this body here is going to expire, honey. It is going to expire. But see, we can hurry up and push it on out of here. We can hurry up and push it on up to its expiration date, or we can slow that date down, by how we doing, because see, we need to start thinking about what we put into this body. All this meat. See, our ancient African kings and queens, they didn't eat all that meat like that. They was warriors, honey. They lived and thrived off vegetables, rice, and different things, and they were warriors and conquerors, and those things gave them the strength that they needed to keep going. See, but you weigh your body down with this foolishness, these great big hamburgers and stuff that you eat and weigh you down, that's what's going That's what's going to cause you some problems. Clogged arteries, cholesterol, diabetes, different things. So we got to start thinking right, start doing right. It's okay to eat stuff in moderation. Like I say, if I'm going to eat anything like that, it'd be once a week, honey. I'm going to stick to rice and pasta and vegetables and try to do like that. Try to do a little better, because now, see, I'm on a healthier way of thinking. I'm on a healthier way of life in God, thinking about in God. What can I do for me? What can I do for me in order to reach my greatness in God? How do I get to my greatness? What can I do here, Lord? Guide me, God. Show me, because see, I've been messing up for 53 years. I've been on the wrong path, way back there doing something different, God. But I see where you got me headed, Lord. You're trying to keep my mind right and focus on you. All I got to do is follow along on your flow, Lord, and not on my flow. See, I can't be branched all off doing all different kind of things over here, doing this and messing up. Then there you go. I'm caught all back up in the spiritual warfare. I need to stay on the path that God got me on. That's what I need to do. Let go and let God, meditate the situation over to the Lord and allow God to lead you. You know the right thing to do. Allow God, to guide you. First of all, don't stop at the liquor store to think about it. Don't do that. Head on home and sit there and meditate the situation over to the Lord. Give it to God, because God is the one that's going to work it out anyway. You need to control you. Control your emotions. Don't fly off at the handle. Don't, you are in control of your buttons. Yeah, they know how to push your buttons, but you are in control of your buttons, honey. Don't let them push them. Hold on to your buttons. Put your buttons away. Put them certain kind of buttons up. That way them buttons won't go off. That means control you, keep you in check. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I had a job long time ago at the aid office. And I used to have to go in there and be the presenter of the child care program that had launched at the aid office, where they help you pay child care now, what they do. So I had to go in there and present to people. I used to kind of get nervous going in there talking to folks, but I had to do it as part of my job. So, I went in there and did it, and God is preparing me. The ancestors are telling me God is preparing me for a time where I'm going to really be doing some public speaking. I ain't talking about Facebook Live. I'm talking about some real public speaking, where I'm going, speaking to people, lifting folks up, town to town, traveling. The Lord done put that on my spirit, and I'm going with whatever the Lord tell me to do, honey. If I got to go here, there, and everywhere, I'm going wherever God send me, because God is going to make a way for it to happen. I'm going to do whatever the Lord wants me to do when it comes to the Grow movement. Anything to lift us as a people, anything to bring us together, anything for us to see that there's a better way in God, anything for us to come together in love, which is God, for us to come out with substance, us to begin to build in the community, us to hold, one another together, lift up one another, because when we lift up one another, we all rise, Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom. Just think about that for a minute. Wisdom from God, from the beloved ancestors, from above, from your beloved ones, the guided ones, sent by God, sent to hold me up, sent to lift me up, sent to tell me through the storm it's going to be all right. You're going to get through this. You may be a little weathered and battered. And I was, honey. I look like I done been through. But I'm going to tell you something. I done came out on the other end. I can look back over the journey and see where I have been. I ain't going back, but I can look back and see where God brought me out of to stand here and tell you that you too are transformed by renewing of your mind. You are in this world, but not of this world. You no longer think that way. You no longer act that way. You no longer do those things. You done turned it over to God, because God is the way, the truth, and the light. That is the Lord, honey. I'm telling you, that is God. If you want to say, well, that's what Jesus is through you by his spirit, says Zechariah 4:6. I tell you that. By his spirit. See, we ain't gonna be no part of the spiritual warfare no more. We ain't gonna sit up and play with God no more and say, well, God gonna forgive me. I keep on doing such. Be you, but be you in God, honey. Do it the right way. Do things the right way, the spiritual way, because righteousness and genuine equality will flow like a mighty stream, because that is the object of the grow movement. That is the mission. That is the purpose. That is the reason. In the midst of evil, God showed me in the midst of evil, in the midst, not in a nice, pretty house, not in the park, not down at the restaurant, in the midst of evil, in the evil house, where I lived at, where I saw the demons at, who manifest themselves all in front of me, scaring me, running water, doing things, moving stuff, showing up faces, all kind of stuff these demons doing. But God showed me everything these demons doing all around you, they have no power over you. None. No power over you than what you allow them to. Now, if you allow them to get on you and you still want to be a part of this spiritual warfare, there you go. But see, there is another way in God. See, you stand up against that evil. You ain't got to be a part of that evil, honey. Look, and whoever's bringing you around and trying to pull you down in that spiritual warfare, you need to tell them, hey, look, no, I'm not finna deal with you no more. I'm done with that. We ain't finna go there no more. I'm tired of this, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. You don't just keep on doing it, because see, they gonna keep on allowing you to do it. As long as you keep on doing it, they gonna keep on letting you do it. I heard somebody say, they can only do what I let them do, but you keep on letting them do it. And as long as you keep on letting them do it, guess what? They're going to keep on doing that and more. So just keep on letting them do what they're going to do. I'm telling you, it's really seriously time to turn it over to God. It's time, honey, because tomorrow's not promised. They live in here, kings and queens, failed by the oppression, failed by themselves. Failed by somebody else. Y'all sitting here talking, about two kings that I knew personally, failed by the oppression, beautiful relationships that I had with them, failed by the oppression, gone, by each other, by themselves. But now we growing. Now all over the world, love drives out hate, honey. Love drives out hate. I'm telling you something. If you are in the customer service position, your job is customer service. Your job is to smile, be friendly, and be of service that you can. I remember a time when there was real, true customer service. And I mean, really true, genuine customer service. You don't get that no more. People frown at you. What you here for? You just don't get that anymore. And we need to go back to love. Love drives out hate, because I'm going to tell you something. My passengers were my job. Metro didn't play that. My pastors were my job. I love my pastors, all of them, from the grown-ups down to the kids. I love my pastors. I had a genuine love for them. One thing about Metro, honey, they don't play about their passengers. You can come there and act a fool like you don't want to be there if you want to. They will get rid of you. They have no problem getting rid of you when it comes down to their passengers. Metro love their passengers. They do. And that's one thing, it's hard to find good customer service. It's hard to find good people to work with. It's hard to find good people to work for. It's hard to find good people to work with, just to work, period. Customer service, helping one another, doing for one another, being accountable to one another. Just being there. I ain't talking about being there to listen on the telephone and hearing their business and gossiping. I'm talking about actually being there, praying it forward, doing something, making a difference, being the change. Let's be the change. Let's do something. You see something, let's do something. Do something. Put the kids in something positive. Give them something to do. We need to begin to educate our children ourselves. I'm telling you, we need to teach them ourselves. I'm homeschooling mine now. I am. So, really, we need to grab hold of these children. These children are our future. They are our tomorrow. If we don't take care of today, and they see these adults, out here instigating other kids fighting, all this foolishness, and they just steady putting it out there, TikTok, different things for these kids get all absorbed in. They need to find something positive to do. They need to, come on now. We're raising a village. It takes a village. We all need to come together with these children and grab hold of our kids and teach them and show them the way in God. Remember how we was, honey. We respected our elders. We respected in school. God was in school then, so we got to put God back in our children. If they ain't gonna put God in your child in school, and you got to sit up and worry about somebody gonna come to the school and shoot your child, and all they doing up in there and fighting and clowning, and anyway, why don't you homeschool them? Teach them at home. You know how to teach them. They taught us back in the day. And then there was a time where we couldn't even learn how to read. You better not learn how to read. You better not know how to read. So I'm telling you, we can teach our children ourselves. Homeschool them yourself. That's what I'm doing. I'm homeschooling mine, honey. I am. And my sister, she's doing the same thing. We need to take control of our children right now. We need to take control of them right now, where we're able, and pray it forward. Be the change, be the difference. That's what I'm saying. Just begin to be the change. Don't make difference in children. They didn't ask to be here. Their circumstances is beyond them. It's beyond why they here, but they here. So let's take care of them. Why they here? Let's grab hold of them. And they all our children. They are all our babies. And build up in the community. Because look, they looking at us now. Let's start building up in the community. Let's start grabbing one another. Let's start showing how it's done. Here we grow. We getting ready to start putting stores over here. It's going to be grocery stores over there. Mike can be right there. We love you, Mike. You always had us. Mike was down with us, Mike. So Mike, all right. So we getting ready to build up in the community. We're going to have stores, all the stuff, grocery stores, theaters, everything, Black Wall Street, everywhere. I'm telling you, honey, we're going to rebuild Tulsa. Tulsa going to be all over the world. Love drives out hate. We're going to drive this hate up out of here. We're going to drive it up out of here. We're going to rise up together just as the evil has risen up. We're going to rise up on this evil, honey, and we're going to sneak up on it. We're going to sneak up on this evil because the revolution will not be televised. So when it come out, I'm telling you, we're going to be on the scene. The Grow Movement. You are the Grow Movement. You are Grow. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom. Keep growing. Keep growing in God. Hold on to God's unchanging hand. Hold on to get your breakthrough. It's coming for you. Let's rise. I love you.